Hey guys, this is DK Spencer. This is take 4 on this video, by the way. I'm sorry, I've had everything go wrong trying to make this. One time I had no sound. It was really weird. But anyway, hopefully I will this time. If you guys can't hear me, tough, because I'm not doing it 5 times. So you can just kind of try to read my lips that you can't see. Ha ha! Alright, so anyway, I still get asked, I get asked quite a bit. I made a video, like one of the me driving and talking videos, talking about the differences between a FSC and a TCP, okay? I still get asked about that constantly, and usually I'll just link them that video and then answer any more questions if they have it. But here in a nutshell is the difference. All right, so an FSC, well, let me just show you while it's out. An FSC comes with a paintball barrel. All right, a TCP comes with a slightly longer barrel that looks like a penis. It's really stupid looking. All right, but you do get better performance out of this barrel. This barrel is geared for less lethal. This is just a friggin' big bore paintball barrel. All right, so your TCP out of the box is going to look like that, right? Quite ugly. All right, your FSC out of the box is going to look like that. Quite sexy. But barrel's not really great for any performance, and as you notice, you've got one slot, and that's one of the biggest issues with these things. So people put on what they call comps. All right, now in the firearm world, a comp is something that reduces your recoil or your barrel rise by venting gases in a different direction other than straight forward. All right, so don't get confused by that. In this world, yeah, this is a comp. Some people also call it a pipe cover, which makes sense, but because it covers part of your pipe that sticks out that you don't want to see, but it does add extra rail. All right, so this is a Mercy Less Lethal comp. These are my favorite comps. And as you can see, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rail sections, and you can add the industry standard lights, which would be your Valkyrie. Really, your industry standard light would be the TLR1HL. All right. So, and I don't have the right attachment in there, and we're going to talk about that, but it will also fit that. So basically, and to go back to the penis barrel, if you've got the penis barrel, you put the comp on, because of this taper, it still looks a little funny. It doesn't look like that on the end. You get that taper, and it looks weird. Even though the comp comes to almost, right basically flush with the end, you still see that. So I typically, as you can see, I've got a Lapco 683 in here, or I custom cut a barrel or whatever. I don't like these just because I hate the way they look. Performance is whatever, better than this, but that's not saying much. So anyway, all right. So that's the first thing, right? The barrels are different. So you get a better barrel with the TCP, even though it does not look better. All right, I'm gonna set the TRP out of the way for a second. All right, so this is the Glock 17 43 caliber, balls, not this isn't a real one. I think one of the sexiest lights on these is the PL3 Valkyrie. I kind of like the one that's not rechargeable like that one better, just because you don't have the circle on it and stuff. They work, both are the same size and function the same and everything. So anyway, so I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to get this out of the way. I just kind of like to show that off. I think it's really pretty. So anyway, now, a second difference you're going to have between your FSC and your TCP is, if you look at the back of a TCP, you have these 4 holes. All right, these 4 holes are here because you can unscrew everything out of the 4 holes, then you put in a set screw into this one that has a hole in the middle of it. You get it at the right height so that you can set an O-ring in there and it doesn't go too far down, or whatever. And then you can attach a rear ASA, rear tank attachment, rear air attachment from First Strike. All right, your TCPs do not have that. Do not have that option. Okay, so to recap, TCPs come with a better performing penis-y looking barrel, but you can't easily attach the rear air on them. You can't attach the First Strike rear air on them at all, probably. But your FSC does have the attachment ability, but they come with a dinkier barrel. Both of them are built exactly the same as far as the needing a comp, only having the one rail section and all that stuff. Now, one other thing, just to explain what else you have to do, and this will come in more important later in the video, but another thing that you have to do with the FSC if you're going to upgrade it to the rear air, because in a FSC, your CO2 is stored in your magazine. All right, so on the bottom of your regulator you have this little nipple that goes into that. All right, so you have to replace this, and it comes as part of the kit with one that is solid, that doesn't have a hole, so that when you engage your air, the air doesn't go into your regulator and just come out through your magazine. Okay, now we're going to get to the difference with, and we're going to get back to the lights, but now we're going to get to the difference with the TRP. All right, so the TRP has a closed system because it has a quick pierce system. All right, so number one, if you're going to make a carbine out of a TRP, you do not have to put that little, you do not have to change that, because that doesn't exist in the TRP, because the magazine does not hold the CO2. CO2's in this tube, the magazine's completely separate. Number two, all right, the TRP has this plate on the back. What that plate is hiding is this setup. All right, so they have already taken the screws out and have already, they didn't have to, it was made that way, but you get my point. They've already put the set screw in, and already it even has the little O-ring on this one, right? The reason is because it has a charge indicator here. Now, do I think a charge indicator is a good idea? Absolutely. It's fantastic to know if something's charged or not without having to try to unscrew the CO2 or whatever. Is it necessary to put this extra plate on and everything to add this charge indicator? So you're adding, you're adding mass, you're adding length. Is that necessary? Absolutely not. It's completely redundant. It's redundant because you've got this little nipple here, right? All you got to do is touch it. If it's squishy, if it's springy, then it's not charged. If it's tight as a tick, then it's charged. So you've got basically two charge indicators. Now this one, you can push it really hard and you can release your gas. So this one has dual purpose, but it's just as good as a charge indicator as that one. And they painted this whole one red, so you see red whether it's charged or not, instead of it only showing red when it extends. So no, I don't think it's the best design, but whatever. I do like the fact that it has the hole so that you can easily turn it into a carbine though. All right, in my opinion, they should have put the holes and basically made it just like an FSC, just left it like that so you could do it if you wanted to, but not added this extra stuff that's kind of redundant. Okay, now, so the TRP comes with a barrel that is not shaped like a penis. It is, in fact, the same length as this barrel. You get the same performance out of them. They're same, same bore, everything, same length, same bore. The only difference is they're shaped like an actual gun barrel and not, well, like the aforementioned penis barrel. All right, so that's the big, that's kind of the things there, and everything I wanted to discuss up until the thing the video was supposed to be originally about. I do ramble, but I digress. All right, so one of the major changes that they did was, instead of having this little short stubby receiver and rail and everything, they went ahead and made the receiver and rail longer. So they give you 1, 2, 3, 4 slots, not 5 like this. They give you 4. But looking at it, I was all excited because I'm like, oh cool, we don't have to put on a printed comp now, so one less thing for firearm people to make fun of, one less printed part on something, but anyway, I was excited for nothing, because here's the deal. Well, kind of for nothing. Not really. I'll show you. I love these lights. I love these, and I love these. These are very, the reason I like these better than smaller stuff is these have strobes, okay? Your main difference in your TLR1 HL and your Olight Valkyries, well, I'll just show you. Well, let me do this first. All right, so you can put your PL3 Valkyrie on this gun. However, as you can see, your rail clamp actually sticks out farther than your rail, so it makes you look like a goober. So I don't like to look like a goober. I've got a lot of firearm friends. So I picked up another TLR1 HL. I got one of these on a TCR. I got one on something else. I can't remember right now. I've got two of these other than this one, but they have the long gun attachments. So you can actually buy an attachment for these. It's called I think it's called a long gun attachment. But anyway, where you can put a pressure switch coming out the back of it instead of your little toggle. But to just show you, and I'll have to tighten it a little bit, the difference between why that a lot of people like the TLR ones better, and you see more operators using them than you do these, is because, and that's what I mean when I say industry standard, but with one of these, you can actually activate your strobe simply with one hand. With these, to activate your strobe, you have to push both, so you actually have to be using a two-handed grip to activate your strobe with the O-Light. All right, the really good thing about it for these is that it actually almost perfectly, fits. All right, the fact that the light sticks out longer than the barrel, that's nothing at all. That's pretty standard in the firearm world. But if you have your rail clamp sticking out longer than your rail, again, you look like a goober. All right, so that I like on it. So I run that on it some. But to be honest with you, if you want to talk about the absolute best choices for this, and unfortunately I don't have one of the Balder S's or the Balder Minis right now to show you. I got a couple more on the way, but I ended up getting rid of the last one I had a couple days ago. But anyway, this is a PL2 Mini Valkyrie. Now, the difference between this and a Balder S or a Balder Mini is only that they have lasers. Whoops. Making sure I was still rolling there. They have lasers, so they actually are going to come down just a little bit more than this. But they're the same general dimensions. They might be a little bit longer, not much, but they're basically this design. As you can see, this design is actually slightly adjustable. And I think you could even maybe go back one. Now, I do need to back up and tell you, yeah, you could go back one, but that kind of looks silly. I don't think it looks a whole lot better to put it on the end. Boom. So, very good fitting. The Balder S, Balder Mini fits just like it, but comes down a little more level with your trigger guard and has an integrated laser. So, if you're one of those guys that feel like you have to have a laser, look at the Balder Mini or Balder S instead of the PL2 Mini Valkyrie. I'll put links to all these, whatever. Now, I want to back up. I forgot one thing to mention. All right. When you get, now, all right, so the PL3s, the difference between a PL3 and a PL2, the PL3 has an adjustable. They still come with different little pieces for different rails that you can change out. Most rails, your Picatinny 1913 rails, or your Glocks all kind of work together. They have a different one for the 1913 and the Picatinny versus the Glock. But for all intents and purposes, everything kind of works. But with the PL3, you can actually move that. You can adjust it. The PL2, it's not adjustable. You can still change your pieces, but it's not adjustable. All right, so with your TLR1 HL, it's kind of like the PL2. It's not adjustable, but you still have different pieces you can change out. If you're going to use this on a TRP, you need to take it. I think it comes with the Glock in it, but it's got the Glock and the 1913 and a couple different ones. I think it's got a Beretta 92. But anyway, you want to take the one that's in it out and put the one in that says TSW 99. Okay, so you put in the TSW 99. The other ones push this too tight against that, and you can't activate it easily. But if you put that attachment in it, then it spaces it just enough to where that still moves perfectly and it's solid. So basically my endorsement for this, for lights for this, is going to be either the Streamlight TLR1HL. Now, guys, I have mentioned the names of all these lights several times while I've been messing with them, so don't send me messages going at 12 minutes and 32 seconds. What was that light called? Okay, I'm saying it. All right, but I am going to put links for them. All right, so this is the PL2 Mini Valkyrie. All right, so this or a Balder S or a Balder Pro. I'm going to link the Balders. And they're going to be the small size Balders. Now they do make Balders that are this size, but those are not going to be what you want at this point. I don't know that they're making an adjustable Balder yet in the big size. If they are, somebody chime in and let me know. But anyway, so if you've got a TRP, what you want to put on it? TLR1HL by Streamlight, Valkyrie PL2 Mini Valkyrie PL2. That was one thing, I just said it wrong. So the PL2 Mini Valkyrie, all right, so that's the number 2, 1, 2, and then number 3 would be the Balder S, and number 4 would be the Balder Mini, all right, and I'll put links to all those. So anyway, that's your best options for this without having to use a comp. Again, we call them comps, but whatever. All right, guys, this is DK Spencer. Y'all please like and subscribe. Y'all have a fun weekend, and yeah, good times.